We are starting with step 2 now today of the distributive property. This one is distributing the negative. We already talked about when there is a number outside of the parentheses, how you can distribute that multiplication of the number through to get your answer. Well, if there's only a negative sign outside of the parentheses, you're going to do basically the same thing. Instead of necessarily distributing the multiplication of a number, you're going to distribute the negative through. So the negative gets put with the 3x, and the negative gets put with that negative 5. So you're putting a negative with a 3x, and you're putting a negative with a negative 5. Okay? So this, you can kind of see what it's going to be, is going to be negative 3x plus, remember when you have a double negative like this, those will cancel and give you a positive 5. So after distributing the negative through, what we have is negative 3x plus positive 5. Now, sometimes the idea of distributing a negative is confusing. If this makes sense to you, great. You can kind of ignore the next couple minutes of this, or seconds. Remember that when you see no number, what is the long, skinny number that you can fit in? You can fit a 1. So you can think of this as you're taking negative 1 times 3x plus negative 5, and this goes back to step 1 rainbow property. You're just going to distribute the multiplication of negative 1. So you would take negative 1 times 3x and negative 1 times negative 5. That multiplication would give us negative 3x, and negative 1 times negative 5 would give us a positive 5.
The following people please come to the office.
The same
Austin
answers.
F., Justin Holthouse.
One moment. We get the same answers, just 2 different methods. I don't care which method you choose to do, just pick whichever one that you like and stick with it. Now, I'm going to show one more quick example here. This, unfortunately, will never come on its own. It will come as part of another problem, like 5x minus 3x plus 1. Okay? Now, we're always told that we are going to change subtraction to addition. So if I add a line, I add a line here, and I add a line there, and that is outside of the parentheses. Not on the 3x, it's outside of the parentheses. And this would be where you would distribute the negative, or make that a negative 1 and distribute the multiplication. So if I distribute that negative, I distribute the negative to the 3x, and I distribute it to the 1. That creates a negative 3x plus a negative 1. Drop my 5x. Now I add my like terms. 2x plus negative 1 would become my final answer.